I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, March the 6th, brought to you in part by Endovac, in business for over 40 years now. And Endovac beef with Immune Plus is safe enough for calves, strong enough for cows. It is a real solution for real cattlemen. Stay tuned at the conclusion of this feeder flash video for a video with information about Endovac beef with Immune Plus. Super Tuesday for Trump lovers like me, and I'm an unashamed Trump lover. A few years ago, we weren't sure that we would see Trump back in here, but after Super Tuesday, we saw that Trump has pretty much established himself as the Republican candidate for president later this year. 16 states, and he won all of them but one, which was Vermont. But we know that Trump can help with three of the main things that we're struggling with in this country, which are energy, interest rates, and the border. So happy days for Trump lovers, and I know that I'm going to get a few people that comment negatively on this, and that's fine, but I think most of us are conservative by nature in agriculture, especially in the cattle business and the commercial cattle business. But also had Super Tuesday in the markets. Your board came back a little bit. It didn't come back as much as it was down on Monday, but if you remember back Friday, especially on your feeder cattle board, we're sitting pretty good, and the confidence from the board, even though it was not as much higher, it was lower on Monday, it lent some support. But on our feeder cattle markets, on the heavyweight feeders, and you know, it's hard to judge a market one day to the next. We usually judge them from 1 week to the previous week, but they kind of just held steady right now. Not a lot of people wanting to push these heavy feeders any higher than what they are right now. But if you look at the middleweight cattle, and I will also say they're not pushing the peewees anymore, but when you see peewees show up in any numbers and with quality, the sky is still the limit on them. And of course, they can be $20 or $30, you know, higher or lower because they're so light and the market's so good. But the middleweight cattle is where we're really seeing the gains here, middle part of this week. And we saw new highs again posted on middleweight cattle, which is I call those cattle from 500 to 800 pounds in there. And for the most part, you can cheapen those up with some grazing. And then on those middleweight cattle, we're pretty sure that when we do put them on feed, that the cost of gains are going to be under $1 a pound. And when those dollars are getting close to $2 a pound, whenever you get done, you can make up some ground in a big way. But we just got to see these packers give more for cattle, and since we don't have any leverage in the market anymore with nobody selling negotiated hardly, it's just hard to get them up there, and it's going to be a battle to get them any higher. And then whenever they take it back in big hunks. But still a pretty good market, guys, and it's good all the way through, and there's not much to complain about there. Dwight Keller's Broken Heart Ranch, guys. Don't forget that tomorrow, big sale. But Keller's Broken Heart Ranch, the Simmental genetics are backed by 10 years worth of feedlot and carcass data, breed leading profit indexes with the industry's most advanced DNA testing available by Top Genomics. Don't miss that sale. Going to be here on DVAuction, or you can go to the ranch near Huff, North Dakota, and they're going to be selling 119 bulls, red and black Simmentals and Sim Angus, then 74 top quality fancy open heifers there. But the sale is going to be on Thursday here, March the 7th at 1 o'clock Central. View and bid that sale on DVAuction.com. Let's talk about your board on Tuesday. April live cattle futures were up $1.32 at 188 even. June up 95 cents at 183.52. And your back months were all up on live cattle, up 52 cents to up 87. March feeder cattle up 75 cents at 252.30. April up $1.42 at 257.17. And your back months on feeder cattle up 92 cents to up $1.50. March corn was down 4 cents, which lent some extra support there to your feeder cattle board. 4.13 and a half. Beans were down 6 1/4 cents a bushel at 11.40 3/4. And there's no play anymore on March Kansas City hard red winter wheat, but the May contract was down 11 cents at 5.69 1/4. Fat cattle trade, we haven't seen any direct trade develop so far, which is not uncommon this early in the week, but we do have at least one producer that keeps selling cattle early in the week in Iowa, and they typically sell them steady with the previous week, and we saw that again. 200 head in Iowa sell at 183 live, which really makes no indication one way or the other, and is far from enough cattle to establish any kind of a market. But we do have that good brick and mortar price discovery fat cattle auction in Yankton, South Dakota at Stockman's Livestock Market. DVAuction broadcaster now, 1,100 in overnight, 1,500 in for the fat cattle auction. The conventional fat steers and heifers in Yankton sold steady from 180 to 186. Program type cattle, non-implanted and drug-free cattle, actually brought a bit of a more premium there, $2 to $3 higher, from 182 to 190. Gary Mark said the finish was not quite as attractive as last week, and the majors that are in there bidding, which we're glad that they're in there, they were settling for lower quality to keep from pushing the market, but still trying to get some cattle to put some blood on the floor there. Box beef cutout values were lower. Choice cuts down 151 at 304.79. Selects were down 30 cents at 294.87. Slaughter running behind schedule, but picked up a bit from Monday. The first 2 days of the week, 238,000 estimated harvest. That's 9,000 less than last week at this point, 13,000 less than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Legend Bank has Greg Brooks and Randy Taylor, and they are the top cattle lenders in North Texas, but they can help you in all of Texas and all of Oklahoma. They take pride in relationship lending and being quick and responsive, guys. Don't forget, Legend Bank is a member of FDIC. All loans are subject to credit approval, and they are an equal housing lender. For more information, go to legend.bank. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction, based on an 800-pound cash steer up through your middle 12 states. Late in the day on Tuesday, sitting at 248.53, down 49 cents, but it was up like 77 on Monday, so just jostling in there pretty steady. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index was 246.38. Coming to you from Culpeper, Virginia, guys. Gave a talk to a nice group of producers here with the Beringer Ingelheimer producer meeting there, and going to be going to Stanton, Virginia tomorrow for a lunch meeting, and then going over to Moorfield, West Virginia, which I've never been over to that place, so looking forward to going over there, and supposed to have a big crowd there to give a presentation too on Wednesday night here. But talk about your big sales on Tuesday. Ozarks Regional Stockyard, West Plains, Missouri, 3,100 head through the ring, another 1,400 in their weekly in-house video they do with help from DVAuction. It's just amazing how much success they've had with that. People able to sell bigger strings of cattle without leaving the farm, but still taking advantage of the buying power there at Ozarks Regional Stockyard. But through the ring, the feeders sold steady to $5 higher. Calves were $6 to $12 higher. Guys, these are big gains there on a sale that has a good test week in and week out. Your NationalBeefWire stick-out sale of the day was Kimball Livestock Exchange in Kimball, South Dakota. 5,200 head offering on Tuesday, 5,200 head offering last Wednesday. Good test of the market. Your feeders were largely steady. Some of the heifers were quite a bit higher on your 6 weights, maybe a little bit cheaper on the 7 weights, but awfully good market. And just kind of concentrate on the best tested weights, which are your feeder weights there on this automated market report through Cattle Market Central. 1,116 head of 7 weight steers in Kimball, averaged 760 pounds with a weighted average price of $266.27. There were 1,938 head of 8-weight steers. They averaged 843 pounds at $248.93. Big time quote there on that many 8-weights. Look at the heifers and note how fewer heifers were sold than steers. Maybe we've got some producers deciding to keep some back now. We thought they were keeping some heifers back when the market kind of downturned last fall, and then when the market come out this early this year and was quite a bit higher, we saw most of those keeping heifers come back to the sales and then get sold to go to feed. But quite a few less heifers being sold in Kimball, South Dakota anyway, on Tuesday than the steers. But 504 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 662 at $262.21, and 512 head of 7-weight heifers averaged 764 pounds at $239.71. Give you some individual quotes from all around, and just look how good the market is, guys. How about Denny Rezac Livestock Commission in St. Mary's, Kansas? They sold 60 steers, weighed 837 at $250, guys. Big time quote there in St. Mary's, Kansas. How about Unionville Livestock Market in Unionville, Missouri? That's extreme north central Missouri. They sold some of the Rockin' R steers, or the Smokin' R, what a lot of guys are calling them now. They sold 60 steers, weighed 886, that close to 900 pounds, and bring $248.50. Give you a quote on some peewees and in Arkansas, guys. So take note of that. Cattleman's Livestock Auction in Harrison, Arkansas. Didn't sell one or two, but they sold 72 peewee steers, weighed 431, bring $370. Big time quote there. I know we've sold some light 4-weight steers and a big group of them, just over $4 a pound last week in the Sand Hills of Nebraska, but this is in Arkansas, guys, and $370 is a big time quote. How about Kingsville Livestock Auction in Kingsville, Missouri? That's just south and east of Kansas City, guys. Still selling a lot of those cattle that used to go to the Kansas City stockyards, but Kingsville is going to be coming on as a DVAuction broadcaster, and they've got a big time dispersal coming up later this month and early next month. There's going to be 3 specials of Circle A genetics there, guys, and that ranch is sold, but they're going to be selling out a lot of those cattle here, and we will be broadcasting Kingsville by then. 128 steers in Kingsville weighed 795 and bring $253.75. Big time quote. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday in your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day come out of North Platte Stockyards in North Platte, Nebraska. That sale is really going good now. 135 steers weighed 763, bring $277.25. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.
There's no way to make money planting them. I've yet to see one grow. We're in Star, South Carolina at Weems Creek Cattle Company. NationalBeefWire is in our system. It works. Cattle health is extremely important in this process because a treated calf is costly for us. For the last feeding year period here, we handled 5,800 head to 6,000 head through here. The Immune Plus is a huge benefit, and we see it, and we simply just don't treat cattle. It's a no-brainer for us.